Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Dr. Rocka Love, and we are here because we both had just wrapped up the best drama series going right now and in a long time.
Probably the best show of the year. Yes, and that includes Invincible, which was great. But yes, I think that the Pit has surpassed that so far. Okay. But yeah, we're talking about the Pit now streaming on Max. And Raka, let's tell the audience if they haven't seen and or heard about it, what's the basic premise?
So, this is a Pittsburgh trauma unit hospital, and you go through the whole season in a 15-hour shift. It normally be 12 hours,
Mhm.
but something big happens, turns into 15.
Yep.
Every episode is 1 hour of the shift. And you go through the beginning of the shift all the way to the end, and you get to know the personnel, the victims, everything that's happening in their lives, and of course, I'm not hiding anything here, the projected big climax third act of the season. Everything in sharp, stunning detail. And I must say, from full disclosure, me being in the medical field in a trauma center,
Mhm.
the closest realist thing to real life medical drama that there is.
Yeah. Now, if you recognize the main star of the show, it's Noah Wiley of ER fame, among the librarian and a million other shows. He's back in the Scrubs. Now, if, for example, you used to watch ER and there's like a similar vibe to this show, it's because A, Noah Wiley's there, and B, you have the same executive producers of ER who are running this show. Uh,
Scott Gimple.
John Wells and Scott Gemmel or Gemmel. So R. Scott Gemmel. All right, now should we get into the rumors and the innuendo and the lawsuit on the show, or should we just get into the show?
Now, we could make a little footnote of it because, as you had alluded to, I mean, we have to because this is how the show got created, right? Noah was going through the pandemic. And prior to the pandemic,
As you were, Rocco.
okay, sorry about that magnetic shift in the atmosphere. Solar winds. So after the ER ended,
Mm,
Noah wanted to get away from anything ER. Obviously, burnout, he just wanted to do something different. Time went by, he had other projects, but then the pandemic hit. And people, some people don't separate the two of an actor and his character.
right.
And so he was getting countless DMs and emails and people reaching out to him.
Carter,
Huh?
John Carter, you was Carter, right? John Carter.
Yeah. Yes. Carter was getting Dr. Carter as Dr. Carter about what to do, what is real, vaccines, not vaccines, mask, hope, is this the end of the world, what medical things we could do. And he felt so inundated yet helpless that he's not a real doctor, but he just felt a spark rekindling. So he rekindled the whole idea after pandemic died down to an ER reboot or something to it to address mostly healthcare workers and everything we've gone through and the pandemic and a little bit of those issues. But unfortunately, the widow of Michael Crichton, I believe,
Henry Crichton, yep, filed suit against Wiley, two EPs, saying that they were supposed to basically there was going to be a sequel and or reboot of ER, in which Carter's character is now older, wiser, and the head of the ER. And for whatever reason, it fell through. There's no specifics, whether it was money, whether I don't know, creative control. I have no idea. So they said, you know what, we're gonna do it anyway. And of course, now because it's a runaway hit in which yeah, you expect Hawaii to be at least nominated, if not win all the awards, as well as the show, because it is superlative. And yeah, she wants money and suing that
I don't see how she has a leg to stand on.
yeah. The Pit is ER, the suit alleges. It's not like ER. It's not kind of ER. It's not sort of ER. It is ER complete with the same executive producer, writer, star, production companies, studio, and network as the planned ER reboot. End quote.
In just my humble opinion, she has nothing to stand on. It's a different hospital. It's a different character. There isn't the whole drawn out drama of the doctors and their interpersonal relationships and everything.
I mean,
And
there
it
is
centers around
minimal. It's not the basis of the show. I mean, while
no. If you have 10 doctor shows, they could be similar, but they're not congruent. And everybody, boys and girls out there, go look up that word. If it's not congruent, then it's not exactly the same.
this is not Grey's Anatomy, okay?
No, not even close.
All right, so
So anyway, that's unfortunately where we are with that. But fortunately for us, they said screw that to the walls to the lawsuit, and they went full force into this.
full.
Now, Noah actually sent letters. Did you know this to all the prospective cast members to tell them if you come aboard, you gotta be 1000% full tilt. He almost wants certain scenes to be like like a real world experience. Like even if you're walking in the background tending to a patient, you have to be fully vested at that moment. Everyone has to be bored. If you're not, it's okay. This is not the project for you. So he really wanted this to be authentic.
No, of course, and you can tell it oozes authenticity from the acting to the no frills to even the cameras. Like the actors have mentioned how many times that they've ran into cameras and whatever because it's right on top of the action, and it's filmed almost like if you're a voyeur, you're right next to what's going on in the action as opposed to it being filmed. I don't know the terminology, but like
Like a long shot.
yes, exactly. It's more
It
like inside. You're in the
it's
action.
almost first person continuous shots.
Yes.
And I'll tell you from there's so many little nuances that I don't know if non healthcare working people or unfamiliar people will pick up on. Like in an ER like that, you're supposed to, and they do, go through protective PPE like crazy. I get it, it's hectic. And I will say a few, not pet peeves, I just say minor criticisms. Not all the time is everybody, and this is real world, take don and doff their gloves and smocks and protective apparel the right way because it's crazy. It gets hectic. But there's a certain way to do it. And sometimes you got to go in and out. There are certain times that he's in the room as just supervising and he's not wearing it, which is, I understand. Um, one little criticism is not even a criticism. It's just something I noticed is, and they put it in there because the pandemic is a big part of the show because of his trauma with that.
I don't want to spoil much of anything at all. I mean,
We're
but
gonna try our best.
yes,
We'll
yeah.
try our best, but it's almost impossible to do a complete look back at it without saying a few of the major.
Okay, just I mean, we can overarch. Okay, obviously he's affected by the fact the show starts off on the first day of you introduced to what three new doctors?
So you got a medical student and three new residents.
Yes,
So
yeah.
again, for anybody who already knows, you know, but if anybody knows, the medical student is still in medical school. He's still paying tuition. He's going through what's called rotations. They spend a month and different subspecialties like OBGYN, ER, surgery, whatever, so they can see where they want to specialize.
And that's
That's
the character Whitaker,
that's Williker. Yeah,
Huckleberry.
Huckleberry. And then the other doctors are residents who they've finished their medical school training and they're going through a 4 year minimum uh, rotation in the R to become eventually an attending physician. Um, Robbie,
Yeah.
Dr. Robbie's like that.
Bobby Langdon was also he was a resident, right? He was
He's the chief resident, so he is the head guy. He is the one that everyone should go to for teaching purposes, for double checks, to clarity, check something on, to supervise you, and that becomes an issue because it is hectic in there. It becomes an issue in the show. It's a real world issue where you got to make decisions as a resident on the spot. You have no time to go look for your, you wish you could, but you have no time to look for your chief resident to double check. Sometimes you make these calls, but sometimes it could be detriment to the patient's care. You know, it is a tough thing. And all you guys out there who have ever been in the ER or something, you would love to just be seen by an attending physician. This gets addressed in the show. It's money. You can't pay more. I can't believe it. That was one thing I couldn't believe. Pittsburgh is a fairly big metropolitan community.
but that's a
To
pretty
have,
low.
and it's a trauma center.
Yeah. So I
So
mean,
to have one attending physician in the ER covering everybody is bananas.
all right, one, but at night they had to have one also, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know.
The
I
other guy, Sean Hatsoy, he's like the armed the military doctor he was.
Oh, he was cool. Abbott.
Yeah, Abbott. There you go, Abbott.
Abbott was cool because again, we're not spoiling anything. The beginning shot is him on the rooftop because he just had a bad day. He's exhausted, and I gotta hammer home that point. You know this too, in many of your medical dealings, but as medical professionals, you go through such an exhilarating, excruciating day. You got so much emotions running back and forth. Sometimes people pass away in your care. You don't have a second to grieve,
Mhm.
to process, to just exhale. And that's why they're on the rooftop. It's kind of like their special spot
To decompress, to yeah,
just to gather yourself.
exactly.
And again, we can't spoil too much.
Yeah,
There's a
so
big reason to do it in this one.
exactly. Just basically, it's the first day of these kids or doctors. Geez. And then on top of that, it also ends. It's on the anniversary of some huge event in Dr. Robbie's life that
His
kind
mentor.
of his mentor's death, and then it kind of sets the whole day, the whole first season into motion. Yeah, you have Dana, the nurse, who's awesome. You have the other nurses, the who was hilarious when they start talking, and yeah, it's so well done. I mean,
Well, that's the one thing, right? If anybody listening has watched ER, and it was a while ago, but it was groundbreaking because it was rooted in real medical trauma and real medical issues, but they really unbalanced it as time went on, and it got very much into their personal lives. It became love triangles and exes and kids and
I mean,
life and the whole thing.
it was interspersed, and I get it the first time, even in ER, which is one of the better ones that kind of juggled the medical aspect as well as the personal stuff. You enjoyed it because you were the characters, but at the same time, this to a man, I haven't heard not one person, especially medical people in the medical field, who said that it's pretty accurate. It's pretty good.
And not just the medical field. As a patient, they address it head on. It's crowded. It's elbow to elbow waiting room.
Yeah, I was
It's angry people. It's people looking for care. I mean, it's as bad an ER situation as you could come across other than the pandemic where You're going there as a patient for care. You don't care what the manpower issues.
Of
You
course.
don't care what the
The
financial issues
last
there.
thing you hear is thinking is, oh, we don't have enough nurses, we have enough doctors to treat you. I mean,
And that's a good point to there is a administrator of the hospital that intermittently comes down because that does happen very rarely, but only it's bad news. And that person's administrator, the higher ups, the board, and she only cares about dollars and cents. They actually, again, this is huge in the medical world. It's addressed every year to us as workers and indirectly to the patients. It's called the Press Ganey scores. And any patient, anyone, whether you're seeing the ER, surgery, getting a tooth pulled or something, you get a survey. They don't care whether you were cured or not. Did you have a good experience? Did when you asked for water, did they give you water? Did some concierge person tell you where to park? Did if you had it for a blanket, they gave you a blanket? The customer, and it's literally called that, the customer satisfaction survey is directly tied to federal money reimbursements for a hospital. If you don't meet a certain benchmark, you don't get that money. And it's a reality that they get. And it's a circle. It's what we have termed a cyclic hell. Because if you don't satisfy that, you don't get the money, you lose money for workers, for supplies, for updated equipment, yada, yada, yada. And then it just spirals downhill. You never get ahead of it and become a place where people want to go.
right.
I don't know how you solve it, but unfortunately, and that was addressed. When I heard that, I was like, oh my God, they really dug deep here. They got into the nitty gritty of healthcare, the state of healthcare today. That was great. The other thing that it was really actually an issue, and it's becoming an increasingly bigger issue. Unfortunately, this is a sign of the times. Is sometimes healthcare worker safety.
Right.
So I don't think it's a big spoiling thing, but there was the head nurse was assaulted by a patient who thought that his care was substandard and he was marginalized, and he was very upset. So he actually came back and clocked her pretty hard. I was like, when that happened, I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
they went there with that.
I mean, dude, they pulled no punches in the show. It was yeah. I mean, they've set up stuff for the next season and they gave a couple tidbits. I'm not sure if I should spoil it or if it'll affect the viewer, I mean the viewers, or I mean guys, people who have not seen it. I mean, let's see. Let me see if I can, dance around this a little bit. All right, season two will likely release in January of 2026. So it's done.
Awesome.
So it will take place over the 4th of July, season two.
Yes, I heard that. That listen, if you're squeamish, you
It,
like your fingers.
there's going to be a time jump of 10 months after season one. A someone will be I don't want to say that. Well, I can say, all right, Dr. Abbott is in for a surprise, whatever that means. Um, Whitaker and Javadi could see promotions. Okay, that's good. And season two will introduce new characters. You know,
Well, what was interesting too is that you have the transfer from what they what we often call what do you call a handoff. So between shifts. So it's not like, all right, you're in, I'm out. Sometimes that does happen. But ideally, what you want to do, especially with nursing staff, is okay, this person in this room is doing that. That person is going that. This one's a situation with that. So people are not just walking to your next shift blind.
right.
So you were introduced to the night shift people, which some of them are colorful too. And it's crazy. Um, one, there's a lot of comic relief, but not heavily comic relief,
Yeah,
like
no,
the Filipino nurses. Oh my God.
comic relief that breaks up a little bit of the seriousness, but it's not. outwardly funny, haha. It's more of a,
Situational.
yeah, exactly.
But there's a few funny characters. The head of surgery cracks me up. She has the god complex
Oh,
to
wow.
the inflippity. Said, "Call me if you need me. I won't.
She's, oh, yeah, she's something, yeah, for sure.
Tell me when you kill people." She's crazy. I mean, again, she could do no wrong. She's a miracle worker. We should genuflect at her.
With an ankle monitor, you have another doctor. Well, she's no, she's a who her mother is a surgeon.
Yes, yes, and she's like 20, so she's a precocious
Yeah, she
wonder genius,
yeah,
but
exactly.
she has some issues.
Yes, she does. Well,
Well,
and
she's gonna have social
of course,
mismatches, and everyone's she at the end of it all, they're all having a beer to relax. She's not old enough to have a beer,
have a beer, exactly. Yeah.
but she earned it this day. So.
Yeah. And then you have the other doctor who's also new, who you can tell that she has a good heart, but she's very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, she the one who's too slow.
No, 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 not the one who's too slow. The one who had the issue with Langdon. Uh,
Okay,
which,
so let's get
uh,
to her real quick. She's a bit of a nosy body,
yes,
and she's totally suspicious of everybody.
yes.
And she's also one of those, as I guess they should be, like, oh, we got to tube this person. Oh, we got to crack that person. And she's the first to jump in there. You talk about enthusiasm. Like, let me do it. Let me do it. And it's like, all right, calm down. Calm down. This is a person. This is a procedure. We'll relax. She's also, oh, that person I think is taking drugs. This person's doing that. That person's doing that. And she on that fine line of being a rat
Yes.
and being like social conscious for the well-being of the.
Like, damn, do I like this person or nah? Like,
No, no, as a character I didn't like her, but she was very integral to what went down.
100%. Yeah.
And one thing she was right, one thing she was wrong,
Yes.
and major,
Yeah. And then you
some
have
major stuff.
a little fun fact. Dr. Mel um is actually actress Taylor Dearden, who is Bryan Cranston's daughter.
Get out.
Yeah. The kind of quirky one with the glasses, where she's like super intelligent, but she's like a little, you know,
I tell you, my heart breaks with her situation with the sister. I was like, wow,
yeah, she's so patient. She's like, you know,
she's beyond collective and cool, almost to the point that is there something with you as well. But again, everyone out there has to follow. You just have to go through the whole season and you see more and more of each individual character's strengths and weaknesses, a little glimpse of their background, and only pertinent to what's happening now, which is the best part of one of the best parts, the economy of their character development.
not like yeah, it's everything.
It doesn't overreach.
The patient in the hand, situation in the hand, what's going on in that exact moment, nothing else. It doesn't really go too much further with that. And it's not every episode, as we mentioned before, is not it doesn't have that sickness of the week episode. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this week we have this, no, everything is just
Oh, it moves on fire like adrenaline.
days and I don't even know if I should say this. Not everything's a happy ending. How about that?
No. um
So
I think they perfectly
have you,
reflected.
you have your tissues ready. Yes.
Absolutely. And without blowing everything up, I'm just going to touch on
Do it.
some of
Don't
the issues. I'm not going to do it. Some of the main issues that you're going to see when you go through this. There's obviously nursing home issues. There's going to be at the moment second decisions of what you do with a loved one. Do they go this way, that way? Um, Staffing issues. There's a bereavement room, which is for real. They call it the waiting, the viewing room. You call that. We call it the bereavement room. This is a real thing. You have social services. that
Well,
come, and they have a very difficult job as well.
that's yeah. Yo, she was running back and forth with the first 10 episodes everywhere. I mean, oof. Oh,
And I tell you, you mentioned it already. If you don't have a pulse, this may not be the show for you. If you do, I would order the box of Kleenex now.
I ordered
There are
about
some heartbreaking real world situations. It stays with you.
yeah, and if you're squeamish, just just get ready because
Oh,
there's
there's more blood than some horror movies.
yes, there's blood, there's nudity, there's
There's
but
bodily
obviously
fluid. Yeah.
yes, everything is like it's like if you were in a thing, it's like whatever,
Yeah, and unlike a show like House, you're not gonna get all the most rare diseases. You're gonna get heart attacks, trauma, physical trauma, car accidents, fights. You're gonna get substance abuse. You get the whole gambit. I can't believe how much they packed in.
Yeah.
To be honest, now that I go back into every episode, like holy cow!
Well, see, and this is something that we've discussed previously, and it goes to again. Now, if the show, since it was a it was one of the longest weekly shows in a long time. Okay, it was almost as if it were ER or one of a network show on a streaming service. Complete with cursing and gore and whatever else and adult situations. But it was weekly as opposed to it being out there to binge. Do you think that it being that way per week was better, or now that people who have not seen it can watch it now and they can binge all 15 episodes in a couple days, unless they're maniacs and watch it in one day? But
I'm a maniac, so I binged it in 2 days and a half.
yeah.
And
Now, yeah, since you binged it, I didn't binge it. It's interesting to see how the viewing pleasure is, or how it works. You know,
I I'll tell you what, because I only know from my point of view. By binging it, I was more satisfied, yet it sat with me more. I could see myself watching every episode and waiting for the next one, but maybe losing some steam before a week because so much happened.
yeah, because
You're
what
on the and there's so many characters and there's so many things playing out that I really needed
the
mini closures.
they had the happy recap where they having them
I
in the
needed a really happy recap. When I tell you this, I saw like three in a row, then I had to do something to take a break. So it was almost watching a mini movie.
yes.
And when you get to episode 12, 13, I believe I watched it back to back because they were really one episode.
Well, yes, like there's like three episodes. It's almost like two and a half, like three episodes in a row. Like two and a half are like it's like one big thing. I mean, so yeah, I yeah, 100%. Well, look, all we can say we don't want to spoil anything, so definitely watch it. It's streaming now on Max, and check it out. I'll give it. I mean, dude, I probably go. It's probably one of my favorite shows I've seen since The Bear. Probably. I mean, off the top of my head, I think it's better than. Jeez, it's better than Last of Us. It's probably better than. I probably give it like a 8.5, 8.5, maybe 8.7, maybe something like that. I give it.
I'm not afraid, my friend. I'm giving it a 9. I don't think there's one episode I disliked.
No, I mean it was like
And I don't think there's one major glaring flaw. You have little things, and I understand why they did it. Like there's no mention of a PA, and that's a huge.
what, that's true that there were no PAs.
There's no PAs,
Maybe they'll say they didn't have money for it. Maybe that's one in the second season.
right? But that's being really ticky tacky, and that's
If they would have PAs, they would take away from the doctors because they also have a lot of like you know uh residents.
yeah. That's why the only issue I have with not having the PAs, there is a little contentious relationship between a PA a head nurse, and the residents.
Right.
Because the residents are learning, the PAs and the nurses have the most experiences, yet the nurses and the PAs sometimes will butt heads on who's the authority. And I only bring that up because if you're reflecting real world healthcare drama, sometimes that does impede healthcare.
Well, I got
Where who am I listening to?
sometimes the RN knows more than the PA. I'm sorry to say.
Right. Yeah. But again, that's just nitpicking because the show worked fantastic without that. It didn't really factor in. But um I give it a full 9 because I am actually willing to watch it all again because it was so much to absorb.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching it again, and I'm pretty psyched that it's coming back soon. So that's good, man, and good for Noah Wiley to come back, and now he's blowing up again. Good for him, you know.
I mean, it's interesting you brought up, um, the bear because both shows are intense work environments that it takes so much pre-planning to capture this correctly.
Because if you want to throw you want to get the showdown now, we can get the showdown now real quick. The Bears' first season was absolutely top. Like the kids say, it was peak. Okay, second season, very good. Some episodes were fantastic to the level of season one, but not as good. Season three, again, very good, not as good as season two or season one. So while very good, we're talking not to that level. This was just chef's kiss so far. Now I don't see how it will drop off. I mean, but you know, I mean, we'll see if later on it shifts. If they continue with the same process, the same each hour is whatever, you know. I mean, I guess it will in time after maybe 3, 4, 5 seasons, it could get a little repetitive, you know, like something big has to happen every year for it to, get 15 episodes, you know what I mean? But I mean, hey, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
And the last thing I want to say is if anybody is on the bubble about watching it, there was a fear of me that you would get preachy.
That's when it tiptoed. It tiptoed
It tiptoed very well.
some of the COVID parts, and there was another particular part with Robbie that it kind of tiptoed, but it did not cross the line.
That's why I thought it was well done because they addressed it, but they didn't beat it to death, and they didn't beat their opinion into us.
Exactly. It was more matter of fact, yes, and I saw in an interview that they wanted to respect the medical workers and everything and show their, what they went through. It was kind of like an ode to them, so yeah.
If there's any kind of perspective after you watch the show, if you guys are listening to us and you already have watched the show in Pittsburgh, I do have some quick numbers. Head ER doctors make somewhere in the range of 300 to 400,000.
Okay.
The head nurse will make 100 and change.
Jeez.
Everybody else, including the resident, including the Kendall resident, including all the senior residents, they make under 100 and below. Nursing staff, CNAs, which is another thing not addressed, is the nurses' aides, because that's another thing. But anyway, so if you do have any kind of appreciation for your healthcare workers, not just from COVID and everything else, from just an everyday situation, this is what they make to take care of you when you are upset, emotional, and possibly dying. So I do side, of course, with a natural bias towards the workers there in the show and in real life, where cough up the money and staff us up.
Oh, yeah, just something for you. Look at this. Check this out. Fun fact. One of the only shows to have Filipino nurses as a main or recurring cast member. Emeline Abella, geez, I messed up. I apologize. Kristen Villanueva, Isa Briones, and Matt Mercurio are of Filipino descent and are depicted as such. Filipino nurses are considered to be the backbone of the medical field for their skills, compassion, and commitment. They are rarely seen in any medical show. Wow.
Well, um, anybody out there has never met a Filipino nurse while in the doctor's office or the ER or something like that. Um, I find that as a actually from my personal point of view, I found it humorous when they're speaking to each other in Filipino.
Oh, I was laughing. I was like, wow. I was like, that was good. But
Listen, one of the greatest shows you'll see in a long time. If you haven't watched it, please check it out. If you have anything to add about our post-mortem of season one, please send us an email, send us any kind of social media message. Thanks for your continued support. It was a very refreshing and sometimes life-changing show to watch.
watch it, come back to us, and let us know what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube and obviously the podcast. And I'm Izzy.
I'm Dr. Rocca, and remember to always save the whales, and let's go out there and save some lives.
Take care, everybody.